In 1963, Britain's Aston Martin company launched a classic car that was made for only 2 years. Yes, only 2 years. And only 1021 units of it were produced. Yes, in 2 years only 1021 units were made. This was the company's 5th car, and in that era it was the most successful in terms of style. This car was a perfect balance of luxury and class. According to that time, these were shocking numbers: a 4.0-liter straight-six engine, 282 horsepower, and a top speed of 145 miles per hour. This car was only for rich people, a status symbol, which was exported from Britain to America, Europe, and Australia. James Bond's Goldfinger film made it a global icon, where with more than 30 gadgets this car changed cinema history. Today, this car is not found in the normal market. Instead, it is sold at auctions for millions of dollars. In 2019, the original film car was sold for $6.4 million, and in 2020, 25 units of its exact replica were also made. This is not just a car, this is a legacy, it is culture, and it is an automotive legend. Yes, today we are going to talk about the Aston Martin DB5, which was launched in 1963, so let's move on to our second drive. Aston Martin DB5. This is not just a car, but a legacy, a timeless masterpiece that even today wins people's hearts. This car was made by a British car company called Aston Martin Lagonda Limited. This company was established in 1913 and is famous all over the world for making luxury sports cars and grand tours. DB5 is one of their most famous and iconic models, which is a symbol of their craftsmanship and performance. Aston Martin DB5 is originally a car made in Britain, UK, which was launched during the 1960s. At that time, the craze for luxury sports cars was increasing in the world, and DB5 attracted everyone because of its sleek design, powerful engine, and cutting-edge features. This car not only presented British automotive engineering to the world, but through James Bond movies it also became a global superstar. After coming in the James Bond movie, this car became even more famous. At that time everyone wished that they had this car. It was mostly made for people who like style, comfort, and performance, and during research it came out that at that time this car was bought by wealthy and elite people. DB5 was launched in 1963. It was the successor of the Aston Martin DB4. This car was made for only 2 years, from 1963 to 1965. During this duration, a total of 1,021 units were produced, because of which this car is still extremely rare and collectible today. What did DB mean after all? DB means David Brown, who was the owner of Aston Martin at that time. The number 5 was kept because this was the company's 5th car in the era of David Brown. So why were only 1,021 units of this car made? Actually, the reason was that Aston Martin was a luxury, handcrafted car manufacturer, whose focus was on quality and exclusivity, not on mass production. DB5 was made for only 2 years only because the company started focusing on its new models and technology. During this period, DB5 was considered commercially successful, but at that time the market for luxury sports cars was small and this was a high-priced car, so the production of this car remained limited. Aston Martin DB5 is also considered one of the most beautiful classic cars in the world because its exterior design is extremely stylish. Its design was made by the Italian design house Carrozzeria Touring Superleggera, which is famous for its Superleggera lightweight body construction technique. In this design, you can see the best mix of British sophistication and Italian elegance. DB5 is recognized by its long bonnet, front part, and short rear deck, which gives it a sporty and balanced look. This proportion is an example of classic sports car design. Even today, when you look at this car, it looks like a luxury and expensive car, so in that era when so many cars were not available, you can imagine what kind of craze people had for this car. If we talk more about the exterior design, on the front of the car there were chrome bumpers and an iconic grille, which gave a classy and timeless appearance. If we talk about the wheels, they were also very special in their own place. DB5 had wire spoke wheels, which were a symbol of both style and performance in luxury cars of that era. In some versions, white wall tires were also available, which were another identity of high-end luxury cars at that time. Its aerodynamic, sleek body shape gave this car a commanding presence on the road. When the DB5 used to drive on the road, people's eyes were only on this car. If we talk about the size of the Aston Martin DB5, its length is about 4.57 meters, which is close to 15 feet. This means the total size of the car from front to back is about the same as a small room or the long part of a big sofa. The car's width is about 1.68 meters, which is around 5.5 feet. This means the car takes up that much space on both sides, which is equal to a small door of a normal room. The car's height, meaning from the ground to the roof, is about 1.35 meters, which is around 4.4 feet. This is a slightly low-height car, which gives it a sporty and streamlined look, meaning when you sit inside you feel a bit lower, like in racing cars. And finally, the total weight of the DB5 is about 1,502 kilograms, which is around 1.5 tons. This weight is proof that this car is not only fast but also strong and made with premium materials, which increases its durability and driving stability. Among DB5 colors, the most famous was silver birch, which was also shown in James Bond movies. But this car was also available in many other colors, like blue, green, gray, and black, so every buyer could choose according to their own taste. Inside, the Aston Martin DB5 gave a true luxury experience. Its interior was handcrafted, in which real leather seats were used, which not only looked beautiful but were also very comfortable to sit on. The dashboard was covered with polished wood veneer. On the dashboard, all the essential gauges were neatly arranged. The speedometer and tachometer were prominently placed, from where the driver could easily see the speed and engine RPM. The fuel gauge, oil pressure, temperature, and ammeter were also given in round dials, so the driver always knew the full condition of the car. The radio and control knobs had a classic chrome finish, which gave a satisfying and durable feel when you placed your hand on them. If we talk about the steering wheel, its design was also according to the sports cars of that era, slightly big, with a slim rim and an old-style round shape. While handling the steering wheel, you got a heavy but smooth feel, which helped give the driver full control and road feedback. This heavy steering was normal in that era without hydraulic assist, because of which the driver could enjoy a real driving experience. Despite the steering of the DB5 being a bit heavy, it was very responsive, which let drivers feel every move of the car on the road. The suspension and handling were designed in such a way that even with fast driving, the car remained comfortable. This car was perfect for those people who did not only want speed, but also wanted a refined and connected driving experience. In the interior of the Aston Martin DB5, special care was taken for luxury and comfort. Wool carpets were used, which gave a soft and premium feel inside the car. For that time, electric windows were a very rare and advanced feature, which were included in the DB5. At the front, there were reclining seats, so the driver and passenger could adjust the seats according to their comfort. The car had a 2+2 seating arrangement, meaning 2 big seats in the front and 2 small back seats, which were mostly suitable for short trips. Along with this, the boot space was also surprisingly quite good, in which luggage could easily fit. At that time, whoever sat in this car felt that they were traveling in an expensive luxury car, but at that time traveling in this car was not within everyone's reach, because according to that era very few people could afford it. The middle class would somehow manage and buy it, but for the lower middle class, affording it was almost impossible. The engine installed in the Aston Martin DB5 was a 4.0-liter straight-six, inline-six, petrol engine, which for that time was considered very advanced and high performance. Straight-six means that the 6 cylinders of the engine are arranged in a straight line. This configuration gives the engine balance and smoothness, because of which the performance and driving experience of the DB5 was very refined. If we talk further, the engine block was made of aluminum, which is lighter compared to traditional cast iron blocks. Because of this, the overall weight of the engine was less, which improved the car's handling and acceleration. Aluminum block engines also dissipate heat efficiently, because of which the engine could maintain its performance for a longer time. From further research, it was found that this engine had triple SU carburetors. A carburetor mixes fuel and air so that combustion happens properly. Because of having 3 carburetors, the engine received more air-fuel mixture, which generated more power. This setup gave the engine smooth throttle response and strong acceleration. The power output of this engine was around 282 horsepower, bhp, which was a very strong figure for the 1960s. With this power, the DB5 could easily achieve a top speed of 145 miles per hour, 233 kilometers per hour. Apart from this, the design and engineering of the engine were so precise that this car could reach 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 8 seconds, which was quite impressive for cars of that era. It had a 5-speed manual transmission, ZF gearbox, which gave the driver smooth shifting and more control. Along with this, disc brakes were given on all 4 wheels, which at that time was an advanced and rare safety feature. If we talk about fuel efficiency, the Aston Martin DB5, being a high-performance car of that era, was not very fuel efficient. The approximate fuel average in city driving was about 7 to 8 kilometers per liter, while in highway driving it could reach a little better, around 10 to 11 kilometers. This means that with 1 liter of petrol, the DB5 could run about 7 to 8 kilometers in the city, and on the highway, because of smoother driving, it gave slightly better mileage. The engine and performance of the Aston Martin DB5 was one of the best luxury sports cars of that era, powerful, fast, and reliable. Fuel consumption was not low, but when you get such amazing speed and comfort, then it was acceptable. As we told you that this car was made for only 2 years, from 1963 to 1965, and during this time around 1,021 units were produced. Even then this car did not remain limited to Britain only, but it was also exported to many countries of the world, especially the United States, Canada, Australia, Japan, and Western European countries like Germany, France, and Italy. The US market was very important for the DB5 because the demand for luxury sports cars was increasing there. At that time, when a car was exported from the UK, the buyer had to pay customs and import duties in their own country. These duties depended on the country's rules and trade agreements. In the 1960s, in the US, imported cars typically had an import duty of 10% to 25%, depending on the car's value and engine size. On a luxury car like the DB5, this duty was relatively high, which increased the total cost of the car. In some Western European countries, customs duties varied, but generally on luxury imports there was a duty of 5% to 15%. In Australia as well, imported luxury cars had quite high taxes and duties, which were to protect their local automotive industry. Apart from this, along with import, in some countries sales tax, VAT, and registration fees also had to be paid. If said in simple words, the buyers who used to import the DB5 from other countries had to pay customs duties and taxes in their own country, which sometimes doubled the overall price of the car. As we told that this was a handcrafted car, that is why its production was not as fast as mass production cars. When in the UK a customer booked a DB5, they typically had to wait 3 to 6 months to receive their car. This delay happened because Aston Martin built every car by hand, in which more focus was given to craftsmanship and quality control. The manufacturing of the DB5 did not happen on an assembly line like normal cars are made, but each unit was prepared separately. Many times the company had limited stock already available, but mostly the car was delivered only after customization according to the customer's specific requirements. This meant that after booking, it took time for the car to be prepared, so pre-made stock units were quite limited. So UK customers had to keep some patience after booking the Aston Martin DB5. A 3 to 6 months wait time was normal. This wait time was proof that every DB5 was made carefully and with high standards, which increased its exclusivity and quality. When the Aston Martin DB5 was launched in 1963, its price was around £3,500, which was quite expensive for that time. In this price range, this car was not for the middle class, but it was designed for the upper middle class and wealthy people. In that era, car ownership was a luxury, and high performance and handcrafted cars like the DB5 were only within reach of those people who had special resources and social status. Today, the Aston Martin DB5 is an extremely rare and valuable treasure in the classic car market. The original DB5 used in the Goldfinger film was sold in 2019 for around $6.4 million. Because of its rarity, James Bond connection, and historical significance, it has become a priceless asset for car collectors. Keeping a DB5 in perfect condition is difficult, because its restoration is an expensive and detailed process. Because of this, it is only owned by very exclusive collectors or wealthy enthusiasts. In that era, it was not just about driving a car, it was a status symbol. The owner of this car was seen in society as having a high position, taste, and sophistication. Ordinary people stayed away from it because not only was its price very high for them, but its maintenance and running costs were also very expensive. Luxury, performance, and exclusivity, all these things make the DB5 a car that was only for the elite. In the 1960s era, the Aston Martin DB5 was an exclusive and limited production car, so its spare parts market was not as developed as mass-produced cars. Original spare parts were not easy to find, and the parts that were available were often expensive and in limited quantity. Repairing this car was not easy even for local mechanics, because the engine and components of the DB5 were specially designed and precision engineered. Not every mechanic had the knowledge or specialized tools for this car, because of which repairs and servicing were more complicated and expensive. Middle-class people stayed away from this car because they knew that its repairing cost was very high. They used to think that even if they somehow bought this car, affording it would be very difficult, because no matter how powerful a car is, it still needs repairs. Even today, spare parts of the Aston Martin DB5 are limited and rare, because this car was made in just a little over 1,000 units. Original parts or high-quality replicas are very expensive, and their source is also very limited, mostly from specialized classic car restorers or authorized dealers. Maintenance is also quite expensive and time-consuming compared to modern cars. Only specialist mechanics can service and repair the DB5, who are experts in classic car restoration. Even in today's era, this car is out of reach for the middle class. Even today, only those people can afford this car who are real car lovers and also have enough money to buy and afford it. The reality is that maintaining an Aston Martin DB5 is a luxury service that only passionate collectors or wealthy owners can afford. In 2020, Aston Martin launched a limited edition DB5 Goldfinger continuation series of its iconic DB5. In this series, only 25 units were made, which are fully equipped with the style and gadgets of the original James Bond film Goldfinger. The price of each DB5 Goldfinger continuation was around £2.75 million. These cars were made only for exclusive collectors and enthusiasts who appreciate classic car history and pop culture. Even today, the DB5 is a strong part of pop culture. This car appears in famous video games, where players can drive it. Apart from this, toy models and die-cast replicas are very popular among children and collectors around the world. DB5 posters, artwork, and at car shows, this car always remains a star attraction. At classic car events, seeing the DB5 is a treat, and people like this timeless beauty. Aston Martin DB5 is not just a car, but it has also been a part of celebrities and pop culture. The Beatles' legendary singer Paul McCartney also had a DB5, which is clear proof of this car's popularity. In Prince Charles's collection, the Aston Martin DB5 is also included, and the interesting thing is that his DB5 runs on alternative fuel, which shows modern thinking. In the original James Bond film car, not just 1 to 2, but more than 30 gadgets were installed. During filming, actually 3 different DB5 cars were used, so that different scenes could be shot smoothly. The DB5 also broke multiple performance and popularity records in its time. Aston Martin later partnered with LEGO and launched an official LEGO set of the DB5, which is very popular among collectors today. And yes, in famous TV host Jay Leno's car collection, the Aston Martin DB5 is also included. Simple and factual comparison. In the 1960s era, the Aston Martin DB5 competed with some very strong cars. Ferrari 250 GT. The Ferrari 250 GT was faster than the DB5, but its price was also much higher. This car was racing-focused, while the DB5 offered luxury along with speed. Jaguar E-Type. The Jaguar E-Type was cheaper and was also considered iconic in looks. But in terms of refinement and interior luxury, the DB5 gave a more premium feel. Mercedes-Benz 300 SL. The 300 SL was a very comfortable and technically advanced car. But compared to the DB5, it was slightly less sporty. Porsche 911. The Porsche 911 was smaller in size and had very good handling. But it did not have the kind of luxury and road presence that the DB5 had. The Aston Martin DB5 is not just a classic car, but a golden chapter of automotive history. This car combined speed, luxury, and class in such a way that it felt ahead of its time, and even today it still does. From James Bond to real-life collectors, the DB5 has remained an icon everywhere. Its limited production, handcrafted quality, and timeless design have made it not just a car, but a legacy. Even today, when the Aston Martin DB5 appears on the road or at a car show, people stop and look, because some things do not become old with time, they become even more valuable. I hope you liked all the information about the Aston Martin DB5 very much. If you are a real car lover, then do tell in the comments how many times you have seen this car on your roads. Or if this car has ever been owned by any of you, then do share. We have tried to give you all the information after doing a lot of research, so please like the video. Thank you.